Hi everybody and welcome to Banter. I'm your host Riley and today is our third episode. Our third episode with our first topic. Woo! First topic. Here with our lovely cast of Phoebe, Sierra, and Moosh. And of course, me, your host, Riley. Hey guys, welcome back. Let's get into our quick little current events topic, so that way we can get into the topic. I'll pull up our small topic, so that way we can discuss those. Yeah, this would be better if I had already pulled them up.
Maybe you should do that.
Maybe I should have already done it, but that's alright. That's alright.
But like DMC.
Ooh, okay. So we have quite a bit. All right, so let's try and get through these so we can get to the episode. I'm gonna start with one of mine because I said so.
Okay.
Jordan Peterson was banned off Twitter. Moosh, do you know of a Jordan Peterson?
Who is that?
First Elon Musk, then Donald Trump was fair, but first
Elon Musk was not banned off Twitter.
No, he wasn't.
Elon Musk is
Okay, never mind. Why did they ban Jordan Peterson?
Do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Yeah.
Because he said some transphobic shit, like hateful transphobic
Oh,
shit. He
wait,
was like,
is he?
He's the therapist guy.
Is he the dude that like? Is he
He's
the
the
dude
original
that
therapist.
like was
That's
really
fair,
rude to Elliot Page?
yeah, he got upset because Elliot Page and like he was like, and then he made like a YouTube this thing about it. It was like, it's so difficult to not misgender trans people.
He's the Scottish dude. He has a Scottish sounding
I was gonna
voice.
say.
He talks like
I love Elliot
hello,
Page.
so no. Okay.
He's the red pilled commentator slash therapist who sounds like Kermit the Frog. He's like, why do these women? What's wrong with these women?
I don't really
He always
know.
sounds like he's about to cry.
He dies. I fucking hate him. You gotta give him the mic. You gotta give him.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say something and then he jumped over me. Anyways, the one thing that I don't really know much about Jordan Peterson himself, but like in regards to the whole Elliot Page thing, because it did stir up a lot of controversy. If like you will call certain celebrities, like for example, we call The Weeknd, we call Meatloaf, Snoop Dogg,
Like Pink.
then why can't you use the name Elliot?
Oh yeah. Also,
It's so
wait.
unrealistic.
I just want to say before we get into Jordan Peterson, and I think the whole. Wait. What?
We're already into Jordan.
Well,
Not
no. Before I explain who he is, the whole him like making it difficult to not call a person by their name. It's like kind of like he's like playing stupid. It's like, how do I say it? Like, if you walked up to a person and you met the person and they were like, oh, my name's Sally, and you're like, I don't think your name's Sally. Your name isn't Sally, it's David. I know it. I know your name is David. Don't lie to me. That's ridiculous. Nobody acts like that. You just say, oh, your name's Sally? Nice to meet you, Sally.
Yeah.
It's, okay, but Jordan Peterson, famously known as being a crybaby, I'm a crybaby right-leaning person who gets mad when women have like rights. He's.
Do you think he gets bitches?
I would call him what's. Yeah, no, I don't think he gets bitches.
Absolutely. Riley.
He. What's J.K. Rowling? She's a. TERF. Yeah.
It's exclusionist radical
I'd
feminist.
call him a TERF, but I don't even think that he thinks that. I don't even think that he thinks women should have rights.
You
So
can't call him a TERF if he's not a feminist.
exactly
So
my point.
he's
That's what I'm
just
saying.
transphobic.
So he's transphobic and anti-feminist.
This is the guy, right?
Yeah.
Misogynist.
We'll put it up on
No,
the screen.
that's the word.
Anyway, but
That's the word you're looking for.
so he on Twitter famously about a month ago-ish, he got mad at like a swimsuit calendar thing, and because they put someone that was in his opinion, not attractive enough because she was not very skinny. She was like plus sized, but he was like pissed about it, and everybody he said, "Sorry, not attractive." Wait, I want to pull it up. Jayden, can you pull it up? What did he say on Twitter about the swimsuit count?
While she's doing that, I just want to say one thing. I find it hilarious that we say like plus size. It sounds like they're a food, like a snack. Like, oh, I want the plus size bag. Like, it's hilarious.
What's his name? Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. So he said something like, "Sorry, not attractive." By any standards.
Your voice is so good.
It is pretty good. Phoebe's been like, "It's not good," but you hear it. You hear it.
No, I don't think your
Do they? And you
Carlson is
know,
like,
My Tucker Carlson is good.
it's mid.
Okay.
Why are these leftists? You have to for Tucker Carlson. It's like a little bit of mix between crying and the Joker. It's like.
But then you also have to get like really insanely like.
It is the. I just no.
I
That's
haven't heard Tucker
not
Carlson's
that's
voice enough to be able to do an impression on it. But like, if you play it for me, I might be able to do it.
What was the tweet, Jayden?
It's.
Oh, give her the mic. Give her the mic.
Like this. Okay, so it says here, sorry, not beautiful, and no amount of tolerance will ever change that.
No, he said, I don't want to correct you, but
I'm literally
I
looking
believe
at
he
it.
said it. He said something like, I think it was authoritarian tolerance. Is that true?
Yeah.
Authoritarian tolerance.
I had to read a little bit down.
Yeah, so it is. Okay. He
So you're right.
said, sorry, not beautiful. No,
Yeah, I'm
no
reading-
amount of authoritarian tolerance can change that. And then Hasanabe, a Twitch streamer, he took a picture of him looking like disheveled, posted it, and said, "Sorry, not beautiful, and no amount of authoritarian tolerance can save that," and ratioed him to oblivion.
Oh, I didn't read it, but as you were reading that, as I scrolled, it actually said the quote.
Oh,
As
okay.
you were reading it, so you are right.
So Riley, he got banned.
I know
for
my
that?
politics.
He got banned for that though?
No. For that tweet, he was bullied because he got ratioed, and
Okay.
he was like, "I'm quitting Twitter," and then he made like a 15 tweet longer, like explaining how he hates Twitter and the culture of Twitter, and then he didn't quit Twitter, and then he like made fun of Elliot Page for some reason. I don't remember the exact tweet, but it was just like. It was just hateful. It was just straight up hateful and like attacking. Like it was just straight up. He was like just straight up being hateful, and it wasn't even like. And Twitter was like, yeah, you like in our guidelines we don't allow hatefulness. Not to say that Twitter is like the best person here. Obviously, we know that Twitter doesn't always give their judgment when it should be given. So clearly, some people say hateful shit. And
Twitter's fun as long as you don't take it seriously.
yeah, completely agree.
Yeah,
Actually,
fair,
a little.
yeah, fair.
I completely agree. As long as you don't take it seriously and you're not hateful.
Right, yeah. He called,
Oh my
Go.
god. I'm reading it.
yeah, I don't know
I
if
have
you're
something
reading
to input on after Jayden.
Okay.
So it says here that, so he was suspended from Twitter after he called an irritated tweet about a transgender actor, Elliot Page. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. I should be the one fact checking you, but instead you're fact checking me to
He
make sure
said-
I'm looking at the right thing.
The tweet was like
He
about-
retweeted it, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
It was about a tweet about Elliot Page that said, "Remember when pride was a sin and Ellen Page just had her breasts removed by a criminal physician?"
So clearly, that's just straight up hateful. Like even if you were to like take away the undertone of transphobia, it's hateful. They're like, you're a sinner and you're gonna go to hell.
And just straight up dead names
Oh,
on
yeah,
the internet.
Yeah.
But that's casual for Jordan Peterson. That you don't know him like I know him.
It kind of gives off the
Oh,
same
sorry.
energy as like Elon Musk tweeting that he doesn't respect they them pronouns. Jayden can find the exact quote on that. issue with like, but there's definitely a tweet out there
That's so
somewhere
weird.
that Elon Musk is like, I'm not gonna call you by they them pronouns, and then names his child a series of letters and numbers that no one knows how to pronounce.
Elon is an absolute legend for that.
No.
Yeah,
All hail Elon.
for naming his child a random string of letters.
Oh,
It's
hell, Elon
XXAE.
said,
You know it?
Sorry.
Oh, that's sad.
Wait, you know the kid's name?
It popped up in my Instagram reels, and
Oh, okay.
so this kid asked him, "Hey, how's X-AE12?" And he was like, "What? I'm sorry, bro, your kid."
You don't remember your own name of your child.
He's like, "Oh, your kid." I was like, "Oh, my kid. That sounds like a password." He's fine.
Literally names his child like a serial
Okay, no
killer.
offense, but like if I had 10 kids and I had so much money that I had no idea what to do with it because I have more money than brains, then it's not really that far off the wall that I forget one of my children's name. I have 10 of them.
He does have like.
He has 10 children.
When you
Yeah.
when you can afford it.
Like I'm not saying the radio is a reliable source, but I was literally in the car with my mother the other day and it was literally on the radio and my mother was like, "What the fuck?"
One of his kids.
Oh, I
apparently-
have.
the mic.
Tech wants this.
Apparently, one of his
What?
kids is trans. Did you know that?
What?
One of his kids is trans.
France?
Trans.
Wait, okay, so.
Trans, okay. I feel
One
like
of Elon's
shh,
children
Jen
is
has
trans.
something
I
to say.
feel like I knew that.
Sierra, I did find something. I can't find the original tweet, but I don't know if this is the tweet you're talking about, but Elon did post a photo that says when you put he, him in your bio, and then it has like a revolutionary person like with like what's on his face. I can't find the original tweet though.
Okay, that was not what I was talking about, but that is
No,
interesting.
I'll show you it. Hold on.
Anyway,
I've also heard this that he won't like respect data pronouns. I don't remember.
What the fuck?
Like, what does that even mean? That's so cryptic.
Like here, Riley. Like what is that?
we'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
But save it.
Okay, cool.
But I don't want to cut us off, but we only have a small amount of time, so let's get into something else,
Alright,
if you don't mind. So, very sad news.
Shinzo Abe.
What?
Shinzo Abe.
No, what's...
Something else. Okay.
We'll get into that after, if you
Alright,
want.
perfect.
Sure.
I just heard sad, so I thought.
57 undocumented immigrants were found dead in a tractor in Texas. Yeah.
That was San Antonio? Or
I
was that something?
it might have been San Antonio. I don't remember states.
I
that.
remember
I mean,
there
I
was
don't remember.
There was like a
states.
thing where it was like 46 people were found dead.
It was 52. It was, yeah. And these obviously these are people that are trying to get over the border, and because they're the way to get over the border, because it's difficult to go through like through our what's it called, like our documentation, the way of getting through the country legally
Like
is
the
difficult.
citizenship
They
process?
oh, give me a minute if you want to stop.
How did they die?
Presumably heat exhaustion from a lot of people from like basically like boiling death.
So it wasn't a murder?
No,
If you were in
well-
like, a really hot place with a lot of
depends
people
on
that
what you consider murder.
I mean, it depends on if like the driver neglected them. Because
It
if
would-
the driver neglected them, the driver is technically at fault for
Well,
it.
yeah, obviously, fuck the coyotes that did this. The coyotes are people that bring people over the border that they're trying to seek asylum, and they're all crammed into the back of the trailer, and at a certain point, and that amount of heat with that amount of people, it's just very unsafe and unsanitary, and it's horrible.
Come on, Texas, you're my third favorite state.
Third
Do
favorite?
better.
Are you
Do better.
what?
How?
Of all of the states,
Texas
you
is
could
Anthony's
pick,
number
Texas
one.
is-
Did you know that?
What are your top two?
New York and Missouri.
Whoa! Okay, I'm sorry. For a split second I thought I heard Mississippi and I was about to come after you because I was about to say, literally, I think they're documented as having the worst education system in all 50 states.
I thought
Yeah,
that
and the
South
worst mortality
Carolina.
rate.
Oh,
I thought South Carolina had worse education.
Nope.
Jayden,
I lived in South
can you fact check? No, South Carolina.
Actually, no, it's more.
I think it's Mississippi.
Okay, no, but like my genuine question is New York your 2 or your 1?
One.
Okay.
How is your favorite state New York,
I was
and then your
born here.
third favorite state Texas?
This is an OG. New York is an OG.
It's which
Anyway.
state is the worst educated in the country?
Got it.
Riley says it's Mississippi.
It's
I thought it
Mississippi.
was South
It's
Carolina.
Mississippi. It's for sure Mississippi.
And then if it's Mississippi, that's the bottom. Can you
Right.
tell me where
I-
South
I-
Carolina is?
I might be about to look like a dumbass, but I think it's Mississippi.
No, and like I don't even know if I'm correct. So if you are correct, I apologize for being like, no, North Carolina, because like I'm not entirely sure. Like, yeah.
Where were we? Oh yeah, the immigrants.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Obviously, it's the fault of the Coyotes base level, but it's on top of that. It's an issue on top of that of our immigration system is really difficult, especially across the U.S.-Mexico border. It's become very difficult, especially with Title 42. I don't think you guys know what Title 42 is. It's something that was put in place after COVID. It's like a provision that was put in place because they didn't want people to be coming here from other countries and bringing COVID, and it's something that was very heavily targeted at the U.S.-Mexico border, and it's still being used today. Well, we're completely open. The only places that we have to wear masks are like the doctor's office.
All right.
It's
Mike to Jayden.
oh, Mike to Jayden. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
You actually are both wrong. It's Oklahoma.
No way.
Where is Mississippi and where is South Carolina?
I can look at
You
that.
Oklahoma
Wait,
dummies!
Thank
Alright.
Wait. What is the statistic? Oh wait, give her the mic. Give her the mic.
Okay, so an overall score with only a 36 out of 100
And as of when?
as of June 5th, 2022.
Oh, okay. All right.
You
So
have an outdated stat.
I have
Mine.
an outdated stat. I've been saying that since.
So you want me to
say
fact
that
check South Carolina and Mississippi?
Yes, where they rank.
I've been saying that for like 3 years. So
Yeah.
things change.
I thought like when I saw the South Carolina one, it was probably in like 2020. So I probably am outdated as well, but I don't know.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks on here Mississippi is 4th and
Fourth worst.
Yes.
no, best.
Oh.
Best.
Yeah.
Drastic
And
improvement.
then
South Carolina. You said.
yeah, South Carolina is hold on, I have to scroll down and I'll get back to you. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, so Mississippi is 4th best, and you said it was worst.
Mississippi is 4th best.
They probably improved.
Whoa. That's impressive.
17. South Carolina is 17.
17th best or worst?
It goes in
I think
order
we
from
listed
best to
by
worst.
best.
Okay, so 17th best. That's really strange. I
I
thought South Carolina was down
Yeah, I guess Mississippi. I'm sorry, Mississippi. You changed your ways.
there. We are both dead wrong.
I am dead wrong. I originally they were literally ranked 50th in the nation, and that's crazy. But you want to get to something else? Oh wait,
We kind of never really finished talking about
I didn't.
immigrants.
I got cut off. Right. The issue. No, not by you. I was cut off.
Wow.
Thanks for
Laughing
making us
at you.
derailed, Moosh.
What did I
I'm
do?
easily derailed.
You brought up Texas.
Oh.
But yeah. So anyway, it's also an issue on top of that, which is that our immigration is difficult to. It's difficult to get into this nation and seek asylum. Legally, you're supposed to be able to seek asylum if you are a person, an asylum seeker. Like, even if you're, like, there's a difference between a person that's just coming to the U.S. to, like, immigrate.
Does seeking asylum imply that you will leave at some point?
Sarah.
No, seeking asylum means that you are in dire need of like, it's basically, it just means that you need help. Like, that, it's not like that you're just coming here to live here, it's that you are fleeing a unsafe environment, like you will die if you don't come here.
Usually the argument against immigration is that they don't want to allow bad people to enter into the country,
Yeah.
but I don't actually see the reasoning for that because there's bad people in the country, there's bad people everywhere. You can't get rid of bad people.
They're still like humans, man. They're not like more percentage to like be bad. It's not like a thing. They're still humans, and even if there was a higher percentage for them to be like more criminal or something, they're still have rights. They're still like people.
Okay, well, I got two things. Number one, the answer to all of your hypotheticalism, that's not a word, anyways, is racism. It's all racism. Pretty much. And also, the thing is that people will be like, oh, statistically, this race is more criminalized than, let's just for example, say white people. But like, if your system of policing is racist, then more people of color are going to be arrested. So it's not fair to compare people of color to white people in terms of who's arrested more if the system is purposely arresting more people of color.
I think your point is that it's like asking oil lobbyists whether or not climate change is real. You're not asking an unbiased source whether or not they agree. You're asking a biased source what they think and expecting it to be unbiased. Clearly, it's going to have some sort of slant. Like if the accusation is that the police are racist, and if they are in this hypothetical, then they would want to do everything in their power to prove themselves other than racist. And that might mean fudging numbers or something like that, or heavily policing other areas. And so it's just difficult to go based on that kind of evidence, is I think that your point is. But
yeah, that would be pretty much
back to immigration. It's just difficult for people to come into this nation, and that's why everybody on Twitter was like, fuck Biden. I mean, some people were saying fuck Biden because that this is what happens when you have loose immigration and people are able to get through. But I mean, like, people are gonna get through no matter what. That's like we don't have the amount of people and the amount of funding and the amount of material to like guard our whole border. It's just unrealistic. We didn't have the amount of material when people were pushing for it, like Trump. Like that it's not feasible. At least I don't think.
I don't want to make a huge point out of this, but your logic could directly be applied to Roe v. Wade and abortions. That's all I gotta say. Moosh, take the mic.
If you are seeking immigration in the U.S., I just have one thing to say to you. Maybe at one point you would have been right. This would have been the best place to come. Maybe. But there's better options now. Definitely. This country kind of sucks. There's definitely better places. But
I agree.
if this is what's most convenient, and but don't let me sway your decision.
We are rapidly losing rights. So yeah, I would agree with Moosh.
I mean, like, you could be like, Moosh is a little too first worldish, because like I can kind of see why people think that, but like not exactly wrong.
I mean, I think the only reason that it's very people are trying to immigrate here is because it's not the easiest option, but it's like
the most efficient option.
Right.
We take in a lot of immigrants. That's like that we are built on immigration. That is our country. It's our country, so it's like kind of our motto. So, and also people that are trying to come from traditionally a lot of immigration, at least currently, is coming from South America, and it's a lot more difficult to travel towards like the UK from Ecuador, or it's Ecuador's in South America, right? Okay, I'm not stupid. Okay. I fact checked it. I just want to make sure. I was like 99.
Fact check, can we make sure Ecuador
Well, no, I don't need you to fact check me. I'm
This
saying
is
I'm
exactly
99.
my point, guys. This is how you know he's an American.
I'm 99% sure.
Straight white
Sure,
males
but
over here.
okay. I'm just saying this goes out. Ecuador's not in South America. I look like a dumbass, so I want to make sure I'm not looking like a dumbass.
You're right.
Ecuador is in
Thanks.
South America.
Thanks.
To repeat what Phoebe said, straight white male.
All right. We're gonna move on to a little bit more. Something a little bit more that we haven't talked about.
Does that make sense?
Okay, shut up.
I understand.
All right. It's my third time. Let's chill out.
We're gonna move on to a little bit more of something that we haven't talked about.
Shut up. I'm trying to find something that is not about the topic yet.
Are we ever doing
Shit.
timestamps?
I have probably. But this one's sad too.
Damn.
I'm sorry. A lot of sad things happen.
The art of disassociation.
It's thanks. Ohio. Let's talk about Ohio. The city actually. Do you want to read this off so that way I don't get anything wrong? Pronounce anything wrong? Here you go. Just swipe that way.
Ohio City Akron imposes curfew.
Akron.
Akron. It is
Sorry.
Akron.
Akron. Ohio City
Okay.
Akron imposes curfew after protest over police shooting. 90 bullets in unarmed black men, leaving him with 60 gunshot wounds.
I only knew.
Jayden, I didn't put his name in there. Can you look up his name so that way we're able to say his name?
I knew it was pronounced
What?
Akron because that's where LeBron James and Steph Curry were both born.
Could you look up the name of the victim?
I unfortunately haven't really had a chance to educate
60
myself.
90 shots, 60 wounds should probably.
I haven't been able to educate myself a lot on this one. Last night I saw a TikTok and it was a newswoman in Akron who got tear gassed by the police, and like I don't really know that much about like tear gassing when it comes to the press, but there were a whole bunch of people in the comments that were like, "Oh, this is illegal. You can't." tear
I
gas the
actually
press."
don't think you are allowed to do that. I'm not completely educated on how media works, but you're really not allowed to do much to media at
Well,
all.
I was gonna say, isn't that like a direct violation of the First Amendment?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's something that can definitely go to court. Okay,
It's Jayland Walker.
Jaylen Walker, right?
Yeah, that's
I-
what's familiar
yes.
to me. I really haven't been able to
Sorry.
read too much.
It's
into
okay.
this case.
I've watched a few videos on it, and I heard it on news. It's very sad. Apparently, okay. Let's talk about Jaylen Walker and his circumstances, and then we can talk about what happened afterwards in this city of Ohio. Sorry.
In the city of Ohio.
In the city in Ohio.
Akron.
Akron. Yes. Anyway. So do you want
I'm probably not gonna speak much on this one because like I don't really feel like it's my place, but you guys can.
Yeah, no, I haven't really done as much research
That's-
as well.
That's okay. I think it's important to talk about at the
Yeah.
very least. So Jaylen Walker was in his police. He was in a car being chased by the police for allegedly a traffic infraction. I don't know what the traffic infraction was. I don't know if that's even public knowledge. When it became like a police chase, they were chasing after him, and it was and allegedly he shot out of his car, like one round out of his car, and you can hear. Sorry.
Yeah. Your own podcast.
I know, right?
You can hear.
I like Spanish.
Not appropriate. Sorry. All right. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. Anyway.
You were at You Can Hear.
You in the.
Why are you trying to ring off?
Yeah. I was telling you to just make sure you're not on your phone. It's on me now.
Yeah.
You can hear in the on the body cam footage. You hear a pop, and then you can see from from like the street light street light cameras.
CCTV.
Yeah, CCTV.
CCTV.
CCTV. Yes. The footage, you can see a flash of light coming out of his car. Presumably, it's a gunshot, and presumably they said I've heard something about that they might have found a shell casing afterwards, claiming that it was a shot coming out of his car. He got at a certain point. His car came to a stop. He got out of his car, and I think there might have been an altercation where he tried to get back in, and then he got out again and left his car. He started running away, fleeing, and 8 police officers started chasing after him on foot. And you can see the police claim that he reached presumably for a gun, and well, I watched it. Kind of just looked like he was fucking pulling his pants up because he was running. But I mean, what ended up happening is he was shot 90 times. It was shot at 90 times. It lasted for about like 7 seconds of just constant gunfire. Yeah, I ended up, and then they put handcuffs on his dead corpse. So that's pretty great that they did that. Yeah, and then later they took a picture of the gun in his car. So he didn't even have a gun on him.
I was gonna say, the shot that they presumed was coming out of the car, was it like aimed anywhere near towards the police, or did they just see the light? Or do you not know?
The CCTV footage was grainy at best, but it did not look like it was aimed at a police officer, and I don't know. There's also been claims that it might have been an attempted death by suicide by cop, but I don't know if that's true or not. I don't. But even if that is true, that doesn't excuse the brutality.
By the way, we are at 7 o'clock, which leaves 1 hour to.
That's okay.
I
That's okay.
kind of
This is
like
Going for shorter.
I don't want to talk about this from like the perspective of race, considering it's not my place. But like in terms of I'll just think in terms of weapons, there is absolutely no reason why someone should be shot at 90 times, point blank, at all. And also, there is no reason that those cops should have been able to shoot him 90 times in 7 seconds.
There's
Like, I'm not gonna go much into it, but like the fact that they were able to carry out that level of violence that quickly is
disgusting.
deeply disturbing.
And there's been multiple studies done that a lot of police officers, once they fire, they tend not to fire once. They tend to fire like a lot of bullets. They don't. It's like procedure for them to. Some people call it mag dumping, but it's like where you shoot your whole magazine, and it's kind of ridiculous that like that you need to do that at any point. Like there's almost no time when you need to shoot someone as a police officer. Like you could have just tackled him. Like if you're chasing after him, sure. There was two. There was two. What's it called? Tasers fired at him, and they both missed. But that was because he was fleeing. That wasn't because like he wasn't coming at them. The reason when you use a taser, it's because someone's coming at you, and that's usually the reason when you use a gun too, is when someone's coming at you. Like he was fleeing, and he was shot 60 times in the back. It wasn't like he was like coming at them charging. He was fleeing, and it's just kind of heartbreaking to see. Like it's just even if you take away the race component, just it's just a person. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but on the basis of just a person, why? And how can anybody justifiably say that a person should be shot at 90 times for a traffic violation and presumably maybe a gunshot shot out of a car? And he's not shooting at them anymore. The person is running. He's fleeing. It's awful. It's kind of disgusting.
In this hypothetical, like literally it was a traffic violation, it was a potential and keyword for potential gunshot and running from the police. But like, I don't know, it's just, why was his life just seen as so expendable? Like, it was just seen as worthless, and it's just disgusting. Like, he's another person.
I've been covering politics for about almost a year now, and in no way am I an expert. And there's a lot of people that have been in the politics a lot more than I have, but it's just I've found it more and more difficult to trust cops. It's because just I don't know how anybody can find this reasonable at all. First off, why do you need 8 people for one guy? Maybe like 4, maybe 2, and why do you need to fire 90 times? It's just crazy. But I can't talk about it anymore. I just straight up can't. It's too sad. Feels really weird to switch topics right now. But we have actually a lot more to talk about. Hey, Sierra, you want to talk about 4th of July?
What about it?
I don't know if anybody
Tell me how much you love
like,
America after what I just
know.
talked about.
Okay, so like obviously I'm gonna jump in on like 4th of July with just like a really basic social media post that I saw. It's the pink one where it was like, Dear America, and it like Independence Day is now canceled because of lack of rights. Sincerely, when I don't remember what it was verbatim. Jayden can look it up if she wants. But like honestly, like yes, agree, absolute 10 out of 10. Like it's true. But then I also saw like some people contradicting the post, and people are like, we've never had independence, but like the overturning of Roe v. Wade has finally woken up a lot of white people to see it. And I also do think there's very much validity and truth in that. And I am really glad that a lot of people this year were like not as patriotic, like in general, because a lot of people are realizing that there's not really anything to be patriotic about. So like, I don't know. I'm kind of just like the whole thing, I'm like, no, I'm not saying hate your country, but don't celebrate independence when it's very obvious that a majority of the country isn't independent.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this the author. This was on 4th of July, and like if you think about it, men that are white, that are either Christian or Catholic, that are straight and cisgender, that like I don't even know how to like keep wording it, that are rich, like, and it's just more and more and more, and it's like the privilege of independence applies to so little of this country.
Your independence is based upon where you fall socially.
Pretty
Sierra,
much.
is this what you're talking about?
Yes, alright, I'm looking at the post. It says, 4th of July has been canceled due to a shortage of independence, sincerely, women. That was the post.
Yeah.
You want to say something? Go ahead.
Maybe I'm wrong for this, but at the fireworks show that we went to 4th of July, as we were leaving, you know, everyone was like recording the fireworks on their phones. I tried to ruin as many videos as I could by just going, I hate America.
Don't we all do it?
Yeah, we all
Also, Riley, you can speak if you'd like before I change like a mini topic. It's still related to
You want to? I want to go back actually, if you don't mind. Since we are talking about 4th of July, we should talk about what happened in Ohio after these events. Obviously, this sparked like outcry upon the city, and there was multiple protests that came after this, and because of those protests, there was apparently they canceled 4th of July, basically. They canceled 4th of July, and they canceled, like, they made a mandatory curfew in between, I believe, I think it was 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. Right? It might have been reversed. It might have been 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. and 6 a.m.
No, I think it's 6 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Okay, I was right.
You said 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. So like 9 p.m. or 6 a.m. you mean?
No.
Because if you like said it, that would be
Yes.
You couldn't go out at night.
You couldn't.
That's
you
like
couldn't go out.
really strange.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna be
and there was there was like I think at least 20 police officers posted up on the police building in riot gear, and like there was like it was just like a pan. It was like it showed the police officers, and then it panned to no one there. It was kind of
Nice.
It was funny because
That's
like
a-
it was like these people, also those officers that shot him, they got paid leave. So that's cool. I like it. I don't even get paid leave when I can't shoot someone and they get paid leave. That's kind of lame. And I work at Chipotle. I sometimes I want to shoot people. No, I'm kidding. I don't
Did
want
you
to shoot.
just admit to that on camera?
I'm kidding.
Really?
I'm kidding. It's a joke. I actually most of the time customers are pretty nice. I don't mean that. But when it's just ridiculous. I don't get sick pay, and if I murder someone, I go to jail. It's crazy. It's crazy that there's a difference in who is and who isn't above the law. But I'm gonna stop talking about police, or I'm gonna get angry.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, Jayden?
Riley, we're just hitting an hour, letting you know.
Okay, thank you.
Can I? Okay,
Go
well,
ahead.
my thing kind of feels like a little dumb now that we were just talking about
No, go ahead.
violence.
It's okay.
But like, okay, kind of going to like videos of the fireworks, it kind of like made me think. But like, fireworks actually suck. Like,
No, I-
Stories.
well, like, okay, like.
No, I kind of
they're-
agree. They're the
cool,
same
they're
thing
cool.
every year.
Okay, no, I don't even mean it in like that sense. I mean like it's not good for like the environment. Like
Oh.
think about it. Like there's like animals that get the shit scared out of them every year because fireworks are going off like crazy. There are some people
But Sierra,
that can't do fireworks.
I love America, so I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. There are some people that can't do fireworks
That's true.
because of trauma from like something
Gunshots?
else, but like yeah, specifically I wanted to say gunshots.
Right.
Like it is a complete disrespect to maybe veterans that have PTSD from war, like
Ooh,
surviving
that's
gunshots. It's a complete disrespect to people that have survived school shootings and have PTSD from that. It's a complete disrespect to anyone that has been a victim to gun violence.
Yeah.
Like even like just as a witness, they're still a victim if they're dealing with it mentally. And like as a country with such a big gun problem, the normalization of constant fireworks is just like another slap in the face.
Right. Riley loves to make fun of me, but every time I hear like I don't know, like stray fireworks going off, it's scary because you don't know what it is at first, and
Yeah.
it sounds similar to gunshots. And you
Okay, that's fair. I
makes fun of me constantly.
That's a little fair. I do make fun of her sometimes, and that the only reason I do is because like when I was younger I fell asleep to gunshots, so
I will say, I'm not gonna say where, but we were somewhere downtown and something like it was like firework going off, and Phoebe goes, "Was that a gunshot?"
no, it was a car.
Or
engine.
no, it was a car engine, wasn't it? Car revving, and she goes, "Is that a gunshot?"
Okay, to be fair,
I
it was a sketchy part of town.
To be far.
I don't think you being scared is funny. I think your equivalence with it being like you assuming it's a gunshot is funny. That's the difference.
I'm sorry, I have anxiety. I'm just
Also,
diagnosed
like,
anxiety
Alright,
disorders, and you're like, get a load of this guy.
It's not. No, I don't think that your
No?
fear is
No.
funny. I don't think your fear is funny.
Riley, what's her problem?
What's her problem?
Yeah, what's her problem?
Phoebe,
God.
Phoebe, you won't get it because you. Can I-
Don't no.
Okay, I'm not.
No.
It's an inside joke.
Okay. Wait, can I like jump back?
Oh, I want to.
Oh yeah.
No, like it's really quickly to
Okay,
the
okay.
fireworks thing, but like what Phoebe is talking about is also another example of why fireworks suck. Because
Yeah.
some people just can't take fireworks.
I mean-
You don't have to make other people uncomfortable
Right.
by going boom, boom, boom all night.
Exactly.
Especially if you do fireworks late. Like, that's just annoying. Don't be an asshole.
My sister is like really afraid of loud noises and like she cannot handle them. So 4th of July has always been like a nightmare for her. And I've always been the one to like, you know, comfort her. Because they don't bother me, but like I see how they affect her, and it's scary.
I guess, yeah, it's not fair to people that have certain anxieties and fears of things like gunshots and stuff like that, which is becoming more increasingly prevalent with fears of gunshots. But also fireworks are maybe this is privileged, but once you see fireworks enough times, it is the same thing. And let me finish. And the finale is just the guy lighting them faster.
I just want to say that's really lame. I sit here like, oh yeah, fireworks are bad, and I agree with Sierra totally. They're also really pretty.
They are pretty.
Look, they are pretty, and I won't disregard you with that. Like, I do think
I didn't say they were
fireworks are pretty. I do think fireworks are pretty. It's just that they low key kind of suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, just like from like a thing. You're like scaring people, you're scaring animals.
Yeah.
Honestly, not really great for the rest of the environment. We could do without them.
Yeah.
You can like draw fireworks. Even though they'd be still, they'd still be
Or
pretty.
like sparklers. Those are fun.
Okay, yeah, sparklers I am totally down with.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't really comfort everyone in terms of triggers, but I do think it is a good alternative to
Right.
big booty fireworks.
The way my grandfather used to tell me is you are quite literally just burning money. That is what you do when you purchase fireworks. You are burning money. That's okay if you have money to burn and you want to have fun. I burn money
I was
sometimes.
gonna
Not
say, yeah,
like
if
actually, but I
your
burn.
niche is fireworks, then go for it.
I will say that it's probably like the most American thing ever to like burn something in the name of your country. Light something on fire.
Can I ask
That is
you
why it's
really
4th of July.
quickly about like a minute ago, if you saw Riley talking and I was like over here going, it's because Jayden and I are like doing nail things back. We're laughing at each other and it's really poorly timed. I promise that wasn't like anything to be problematic.
For context of audio listeners, they both have nice nails that Jayden got her nails done today, so that's why they're happy. Okay.
I can't
But,
believe matching.
Oh no, wait, it wasn't last week, it was Tuesday. Haha.
Okay, but
Okay,
Jayden's telling me that we are far behind. We need to get back. We need to get into the topic.
Yeah, man.
We just straight up need to get to the topic. We've been talking for a little too long. All right. This one might be a little long. All right, but that's okay.
Yeah, keep going at 8 though.
Yeah, crack your back. I'm about to be talking for a minute, by the way.
Can we like put a microphone to your back?
Wait,
ASMR,
actually, wait, no, wait.
ASMR interlude.
Can you hear?
ASMR.
Wait, can you like crack your back?
We'd like to hear you crack your back.
Okay, hang on. How do you crack your back?
No, your back, not
I
your
don't
feet.
know. I'm gonna do my ankles too.
And this is gonna make someone uncomfortable.
Sorry.
I'm actually
Hey,
reconsidering
Marsha.
this.
You can actually hear it.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, that was good.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
am so intrigued
Okay,
to
that
hear
was
that.
no,
Like,
never again, never again.
Pictures.
All right, anyway.
The pink chairs.
Moosh, you haven't talked in a while.
Okay.
So do you wanna? Can we
Well,
have Moosh start us off?
Well, me and sure. Moosh, what are we talking about?
Well,
Supreme Court?
aren't we talking about the Supreme Court?
Yeah, I fear this will probably be a lot more me and Moosh heavy.
Yeah.
So
Literally,
Supreme Court.
the only input I'm gonna have is, man, I fucking hate that dude named Clarence Thomas.
Before we talk about like specific things that they have done and like specific rulings that they've made, let's talk about a little bit more into detail what the Supreme Court, what it does, and how it does it. So if you don't mind, Moosh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm like gonna read a script basically.
Run us down.
All right, so the Supreme Court is the ultimate decider on what law means and what laws are basically cool with the Constitution. This power was given to them by themselves. It was given to themselves in 1803 with Marbury versus Madison. It said emphatically and oh god, nerd speak. Sorry. It's emphatically the province and duty of the judicial department to say what is law. All right, if you're still here. This gives them a huge sway over the Constitution and politics in general. Whether some people claim that the Supreme Court is bipartisan and therefore cannot be influenced by politics, but what it does influences politics, and it's very heavily dictated by like who is in place. It's a very heavy political topic. Like who will be the next senator? I mean, not the next senator. Who will be the next justice? Sorry. Can we? I'm trying. Can we chill out?
I just gave elbow poppings.
Each justice serves for life. And I'm
Sierra, they're gonna think they're gunshots. You're scaring them. All right, go, Robin. Each justice serves for life and it's practically irreversible. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But
Yeah. And each justice is handpicked by the president of the time of the opening. The justice is put in front of a judicial committee, which is basically a super intensive background check and kind of like an interview, like a super intensive background check / interview. The background check is done by the FBI usually, and the the interview portion is done by the judicial committee. Then the justice is voted in by the upper house of Congress, aka the Senate, with a 1/2 and 1. 1/2 plus one person approval, which really means 1/2 because once there is a in the middle vote, the vice president votes it in, takes the last vote, and the vice president most always sides with the president.
Yeah, why would they go against?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be dumb. So basically, you just need half the people to agree.
By 1/2 plus 1, you're basically saying the majority. Yeah.
No, well, yeah, technically,
Yes,
technically,
okay.
technically, just a very simple, whatever the majority is, or I guess half, because like I guess if you count the vice president, then yes, the majority. Cases, okay, and then specifically with cases, cases make their way to the Supreme Court through the court system, through appeals and through appeals through the district court, then the circuit court, then finally the Supreme Court, where it's ruled on. Like you got to go through the 3 levels, and whenever one of them, if you keep told no, then you finally get to the Supreme Court, and they decide whether it's still no or yes. Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that. We cut out the audio, and then everything went to shit a little bit. But the audio should be a lot better now. I'm sorry that you've had to endure that. Hopefully it wasn't awful. But back into what we were saying. We were talking about the Supreme Court, and let me pull back up what I was talking about. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, I think I was talking about. I'd already talked about how the Supreme Court works, how justices are voted in, and I have established how they have their power as of sorts. Can you not do Lime SMR?
Sorry.
We should talk more about like how the cases come into the Supreme Court. They come into the Supreme Court through the district level, and then to the circuit level, and then to the Supreme Court. The way that they come in is through if your court is like. If your court is denied, like if you lose your battle, you can appeal to a higher court, and then you can do that twice until you get to the Supreme Court. But the thing about the Supreme Court is that for them, they only take about 1% of all of the cases that they got. Like I think this year they only took 80 cases out of 8,000. So they're very picky and choosy, and for cases to be taken by the Supreme Court, it usually must contain to federal law and have a majority of the justice interested in hearing it. Like you have to have what?
The line.
The line fell. You have to have like at least 4, maybe 5 of the justices to agree in doing it. Which means whatever the majority is has a lot of control on what. What?
It's okay.
I could just hear her.
Good. It's alright. For the case to be taken. What? What are you doing? Alright, anyway. But. And that's the reason why, it's a lot more, like, okay, sorry, I was saying before, because of that the majority of the justices can only be taken seriously. You were driving me crazy. I can't concentrate. Stop. For the case to be taken, please. Okay. For those on audio, Phoebe is playing with a ring game where you toss a ring onto a hook, and she is driving me crazy with my ADHD. Don't take the mic from me yet.
I
Okay,
want
you
to
take
win. I want to win.
Sometimes you don't win, Phoebe. It's called being a loser.
Phoebe, can you? So.
I literally do that to all my co-counselors at camp. I go, it's so funny.
So as I was saying a minute
I
ago.
love how Riley fake laughed. That was hilarious.
It wasn't fake. No,
I just did it
It was
again.
very real. It was very real. My laughs are always real. In fact, I've never lied ever. People don't lie on the internet. Okay, so I don't.
I feel like you're trying to gaslight us right now.
No, just a little.
In the
What's
words-
All right, so we're making up words now.
In the,
So we're making up words now.
Yeah, what's
Riley.
gaslighting?
What's gaslighting?
What is that?
I don't know. Maybe you should check a dictionary and see what the word gaslighting
It's
is.
probably
Because
not
clearly
even
you're
in
not
the
competent
dictionary.
enough to read anything.
I doubt it's in
Give her
the
the
dictionary.
give Jayden the mic.
Wait, you usually give Jayden your mic.
I know, but I was talking.
Bruh.
no, okay.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say in the words of 11 from Stranger Things, friends don't lie.
That's so true. I never lie ever, not even once.
You're just like Papa. Friends
Papa,
don't
more
lie.
Movie. No L. There's no more. Papa, more movie. Okay, sorry. I needed to.
Okay,
You
so
lied. You
back to what I was saying. For the Supreme Court to actually take a decision, it has to have a majority of the people who agree on it. So whether or not those people are considered liberal or conservative has a great factor on whether or not they will even hear a case. Like, even if a case could be decided and maybe would come to an agreement, it might not even be chosen because only 3 people are liberal and only 3 of them say they want to hear it, and the other 6 might outvote them. So it might not even be heard, which is it's interesting that it might not even get to them because of how it works. Moosh, how do you feel about the Supreme Court?
Go ahead, Moosh. Take mine.
Tell me your personal opinion, then I'll tell you mine.
So they've declared judicial authority upon themselves through themselves. And on that, I'm calling bull. Who decided that? Second of all, it's more than one justice and they serve for life. I think that's incredibly dumb because people, first of all, you have unique people that are going to sit there and make their decisions across a lifetime, and some people change, some people don't, so that's highly subjective and volatile. I don't even think that they should be able to interpret laws, because laws shouldn't be open to interpretation. It should be clear and concise what is meant to be achieved with a law.
I somewhat agree with the last point, but I would also argue that it's difficult for a lawmaker to take into account all circumstances revolving around one law. So maybe it's a little bit difficult. So that I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of leeway there, but not to the degree at which we have right now.
I agree. There should be like some fluctuation in laws because that's just like the way things work. However, we should not be basing our laws off of a document that is almost like 250 years old, when the people who made the document believed that the document should be rewritten frequently, and the fact that people act like it is still the 17th.
Would it?
Because society has changed so much to an unprecedented amount. Therefore, like the rules that we experience are not like the Constitution. It's not relevant. Like
Exactly.
update it. Make a whole new copy of the Constitution and definitively outline like what that stuff means. Like, but like obviously there's fluctuation. It's just that we have way too much. We don't have enough actual hold on federal rules, which is a whole bunch of like states versus federalism or whatever. But like, we don't have enough rules written on the national level that are strict enough to like be good.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's the problem I have with the Second Amendment. It's not as relevant as it was in the like 17th century. You know, we're not literally fighting a revolution anymore. Why do we need the right to bear arms?
Yeah, back in the day, you needed a rifle just to like protect your home from like literally like wildlife. Like actually, you lived on the frontier, and if you didn't have a gun, you might get mauled to death by a bear. You might like there's like coyotes. There's lots of wildlife that could kill you if you don't have a weapon. But in normal society, nobody's fighting bears.
Riley, how do you feel about scrapping the Constitution entirely? Because I'm not opposed.
Actually, I believe our Constitution is the. I don't want to get big into the Constitution right now because we'll probably have another episode on the Constitution. But to give my little 2 cents about it, is that I think our Constitution is the longest lasting Constitution in the world currently. Like on average, the lifespan of Constitution is about 14 to 17 years, which means other countries, they rewrite it kind of frequently enough for it to only become barely an adult, and then they scrap it not because they hate law and order. It's like just because things change. Things change, people change, the world changes. So you should have a set of rules that change with it. Especially like the fact that people believe they're like constitutionalists, I think it's really dumb. Because like there's the whole point of our Constitution is that it's supposed to change. That's the built-in feature that we get to change it. It doesn't get rewritten, even though a few of our founding members believe that it should be rewritten every a few years. I can't remember. Maybe it was.
I think it was Jefferson.
No, it wasn't Jefferson. It was.
Madison?
No. I can't remember.
It was Jefferson.
Key, lightning key.
Franklin?
I think it was Franklin. But that worked, didn't it? It works. So don't.
Lightning key, Ben.
Yeah, Franklin.
Franklin.
Yeah, he did that experiment. Yeah.
That was him.
What? Am I being dumb?
No,
I'm right.
Most people don't even know he came up with that experiment.
Yeah. Anyway, I believe he was the one. He was one of the persons that believed that he
Constitution
should be rewritten. But also maybe we shouldn't take his opinion so heavily because he believed that German people were too swarthy to be white, which is
To what?
Oh my
To
God,
be white.
do not get into swarthy.
I won't.
Please.
I won't get
What does
swarthy.
it mean?
Can we
It's how people were racist like in the 18th century.
What does it mean, though?
It basically means like not
Fact checking.
fact checking.
What does swarthy?
I'm wrong.
Good.
Sierra's right. It was Thomas Jefferson. He said they believed that the Constitution should be rewritten every 19 years.
Was it also Ben Franklin though?
No.
What?
It was
You
just
were wrong.
I
Oh,
thought it was
So what does swarthy mean?
Oh, swarthy.
Riley's wrong.
L.
What's your damage?
I like when you're wrong.
Total.
Because it's not often.
Total damage.
Because
All right, I was wrong. Sierra's right. But either way, he's still a founding member of our Constitution. Believed that we should rewrite it.
Swarthy mean?
Swarthy means basically when back in the olden days, people did not.
Back in the olden days.
Before really civilization was created, like kind of there was like people were very discriminatory even in Europe when it came to.
Yeah, I know. The word Slavic, it comes slave. They used to enslave Slavic people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never. It was in the East. It was considered to be more swarthy when it came to like Germans and Switzerland and Finland, I believe. But that's what swarthy means.
You said it was considered to be more swarthy, but what is swarthy?
That just means that area.
Okay.
Like that's
Eastern
European.
Okay.
That's
Alright.
It was the discriminatory way of saying Eastern European back in the day.
Like Oriental for Asians.
Yeah, exactly. But way off topic. We gotta get back onto it.
Alright, can I just go back really quickly to
Yeah.
the Second Amendment? Also, people are not militias. And also, I believe in self-defense and stuff, but you don't need advanced guns to protect yourself. Also, so it's kind of.
I don't want. We will have.
The Second Amendment is outdated.
I
That's what I'm
totally
trying to
agree.
say.
Save this for later.
We will definitely have a whole episode dedicated to specifically the Second Amendment because it's a big topic to talk about. All I'll say is, no, I don't. I'm just gonna
Don't
save
say
it.
it, yeah.
I'm gonna save it. We'll talk about it at a different point. But back to what I was saying. My beliefs on the Supreme Court is that when the Constitution was written, a lot of the representatives did not trust the people to be basically well educated enough to run a nation.
And rightly so.
I kind of disagree, but I don't think anybody was really well educated back then. But
Franklin, Jefferson,
Well
Hamilton,
educated?
They were all very
well educated for the time. Well, not well educated for our time. What I mean to say is that they're only as smart as representatives are smarter than the average American now.
Representatives aren't smarter than the average American.
Listen,
Depends on what representative you're talking about.
they were not well educated. They were wealthy, not well educated.
They were
No,
both.
that's true.
They were both.
That's-
Modern representatives are just wealthy. I
Well,
wouldn't say
actually,
they're smart.
I would. I'd argue that because education is kind of gate locked by wealth.
It was back then. I would say.
Education is privilege, by the way. It shouldn't be, but
Phoebe
it
Phoebe is singing Hamilton right now.
I believe that
Wait,
education is basically a human right. However, it is treated as a privilege.
Yeah, no.
Because if you think about it, yes, there's private schools, which you have to pay money to get into, but also there's public schools, and in poorer areas, the amount of funding a school would get is extremely disproportionate. Therefore, school is classist.
Yeah,
Amen.
But back to what I was saying that they believe that the public couldn't really what's the word? They couldn't really govern themselves, so they used many things to further the divide between the public's opinion and what the vanguard or the representative opinion is. And that's why the Supreme Court is what it is today, which is very undemocratic. It's it is arguably the least democratic part of our governments, and it's also the the longest standing part of our government. You stay there for life, and you don't get voted in, and they arguably have, I would say, the most power in our government. They have little to no checks on them. Sure, they are voted in by both branches of governance, but once they're voted in, they're there for life. And they get to decide on cases on other branches of government. When other branches of government have squabbles, they decide on it.
Also, to add that, in theory,
Especially
the
with Margaret
Supreme Court
Court.
is okay. Obviously, they're not checked enough, in theory, but, also at the same time, the fact that we've had politicians corrupt the court is also a big issue.
Sure.
AKA them not letting Obama get his last pick in and then screwing Trump over. Screwing Obama over and then reversing that decision when Trump was in.
Totally agree with that. Fuck Mitch McConnell.
So that. Like, fuck Mitch McConnell for that, honestly.
Turn it off.
What are you doing? Why are you doing? We're in a podcast.
Phoebe keeps trying to
We can
play
be
Hamilton.
You are derailing us.
Stop it. Back to what I was saying. Personally, I think the fact that Donald Trump was allowed to stack the court is a monstrosity.
Or no, that is the highlight of his career. As far as what people, that's like why people voted for Donald Trump for a seat on for 2 justices basically. Well, it was 1 justice and then
It turned into basically
2. Yeah, and then 3. Yeah. But I would also kind of argue that it's a little bit Obama's fault. Let me finish.
Okay, in terms of Supreme Court, like
for the Supreme Court, wait, I'm gonna finish. He decided to take the high road and not, because there's loopholes that you can go through to get someone nominated on the Supreme Court, and he chose specifically not to take those loopholes, which, man,
I
I
genuinely
hate
don't think he would have had success.
I think that he didn't do the best he could have. I think the Democratic Party is feckless. It doesn't do a lot. Okay.
What
It
does
doesn't-
the word feckless mean?
It basically means that they're like, oh no, we can't do anything.
Like passive, effective.
Yeah, they're passive,
like-
feckless, and they say they're going to do things, and then when the moment arises for them to be able to do it, they find someone to get in front of the chopping block, and a scapegoat of sorts. Let me finish.
Yeah.
They're a scapegoat of sorts, and they're like, it's their fault.
Yeah.
And they don't like take them off committees or anything. As far as I don't want to get into this so far, but like it's ridiculous the amount of ineptitude as far as the Democratic Party goes.
Really quick. Sorry, Phoebe. Really quick. I just like to say I agree with you. It's pretty much like the Democratic Party now. There are a lot of flaws, but basically, like I feel like a lot of there's tactics are like, oh my God, Republicans suck so much. Vote for the Democrats. We're gonna not be the Republicans, and then they just do nothing. Instead of doing bad, they just do nothing, which is almost as bad. And it's kind of just like,
Agreed. Phoebe, you were gonna say?
Oxford Dictionary defines feckless. Adjective, lacking initiative or strength of character, irresponsible.
Yeah.
Example, a feckless mama's boy. Similar to useless, worthless, incompetent, and inefficient.
Valid. I also.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Joe
Alright.
Biden, we need to codify
Now,
Roe.
Joe Biden.
Also, Joe Biden didn't codify Roe.
We need to increase if I get voted in, I'll increase the minimum wage to 15.
Also, Joe Biden doesn't increase the minimum wage to 15.
Feckless dick in your mouth.
That wasn't bad. Sierra's disgusting.
No, I'm trying to think of what the heck did we... What did you just...
Like fit in this?
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Feckless dick.
Alright, don't say it again. Anyway.
Like a dick in your...
What I'm
What?
back to what I was saying about the Supreme Court. Obviously, when it comes to the Supreme Court, I feel like it's very undemocratic. It has no checks and balances, and it's very difficult to do anything to prevent them from making decisions. And it's like we don't vote them in. We vote on representatives that are sometimes not even put into power by popular vote, and then those representatives, that representative, the president, he handpicks one, and he can pick whoever he wants.
Electoral college is a scam.
Yeah, because of the electoral college, it makes it difficult for the popular vote to go through to choose the president, and then the president chooses someone. So it's not even us choosing; it's the president. He chooses whoever he wants, and then he puts in front of only not the whole Congress, but just the Senate, and all it has to do to get through is 50% of the votes, because then the vice president can just vote them in. It's crazy how undemocratic that process is. We call ourselves. Could you not be on TikTok? Derailing the whole thing. Shame. No, not shame. I'm kidding. But it's ridiculous how much we have not a say in the rights that are given to us. Do we want to talk about specific cases? I'll bring up one. You did not.
I did.
Okay.
I don't even know what I want to talk about.
Let's talk about Plessy versus
Ferguson.
The court ruled that racial segregation in law did not violate the U.S. Constitution as long as facilities of each race were equal in quality, a doctrine that came known as separate but equal.
Wait,
Yeah.
Did I just say equal but separate but equal? Same difference. Separate but equal.
So
I'm
the Supreme Court
Sorry.
has obviously made poor decisions in the past. It's not, people try to use the Supreme Court as this ultimate authority of what is right and what is wrong.
Well, if the slave owners decide that segregation is okay, then that means that segregation is okay because the Supreme Court.
But also at the same time, that's what people in 1850, or when was Plessy versus Ferguson? Do we have an exact year?
I got it. Yeah, just keep talking. I got
I was like, so let's say in that time frame, I'm saying 1850 is baseline year. I think I'm a lot off. We kind of had a mishap, and Riley's computer died again, which is where we do the audio stuff. So,
Tech's not working, but we're back.
Yes.
Alright, you were saying about
Put your feet down.
put your
So I
dogs
was
away.
talking about Plessy versus Ferguson, and can we get a date on the year?
I will do that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but you were saying?
All right, so basically my
Riley, your
point
internet's
was
not working.
that what people thought was societally okay, and I said 1850 for the year of Plessy versus Ferguson.
1896.
1896. That is terrifying.
Wait, Plessy.
If Plessy.
Yeah, 1896. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So,
I
that
wanna
is
make sure I was right.
terrifying how far off I was, which is just a wake up call of how awful my retention of history is.
That's
And
alright.
my time perception. Anyways, so in 1896, what people thought was societally okay is different now in 2022. We shouldn't be using society in the 1890s to be a definitive line of how society should be.
Over a century ago.
Exactly. It should be something that. That's why I believe that. Nice try. Anyway, that's why I believe that if anybody were to consider the Constitution anything more than a living, breathing document that evolves with us over time, they're crazy. I mean, laws change, people change, and so do times. And it's ridiculous that we have that justices stay on for so long that they're the vanguard of old timey traditions and ideas, and it's things change and we shouldn't be governed by the past. I think that's the way I put it. What?
Hey, Phoebe. Give lemon.
Anyway, obviously, there's a few more decisions that we should talk about.
Get lemon.
I have to pull this up. But
It's life.
they did something recently where the Supreme Court rolls back the EPA.
Sorry, we're done.
Can you repeat that for me, please?
The Supreme Court rolled back the EPA, which, if you don't know, it's basically the Environmental Protection Agency.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Environmental
That's bad.
Protection Agency. You want to give me a fact check, Phoebe?
Which...
On what?
I believe EPA
Unless
is
you have to use the
environmental.
internet wasn't working.
I
No,
believe
it's
it
not.
is environmental whatever protection agency. 'Cause
I
I know that it
I
has
think
to
that's what it's
do
called.
what it makes like it severely more difficult to put climate change laws. into
Yes.
effect, was the
Previously, there was this.
You're right.
Huh?
Like-
It's Environmental Protection Agency.
Oh, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! I'm usually right when it comes to
Yeah, you were
politics.
totally right about Thomas Jefferson.
I said usually, not always.
Usually.
Not always.
Actually, you were wrong about Mississippi too, so that's twice.
Twice?
Double L.
Twice.
And one
Actually, I was right about Mississippi, and just things changed. It wasn't that I was wrong. It's that I was outdated.
Yes. Still wrong though.
You know, that's fair. That's fair. But anyway,
Not valid.
No bitches.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
could you stop with the ring? I'm gonna lose it.
Can I have my
You can have the line.
Lose your mom or lose your balls.
Anyway, basically, this agency was put in place to reduce. Shut up! Please.
Phoebe was being funny.
Can't help it that I'm funny.
That's great. That's okay.
Just
So
so you know.
We're gonna be running on like 2 hours.
it's fine.
It's like,
That's okay. For what I was saying before is that the APA is the agency that it's basically its goal. Moosh, if you know anything about this, its goal is to reduce climate emissions, reduce emissions for climate change. No, to prevent climate change. Sorry, I'm tired. But basically, for every president, they do kind of this thing where they roll back the EPA, or they'll more encompass the EPA, and like for Trump, he shrunk down the what the EPA could do, and then before that, Obama expanded what the EPA could do, and then before that, I wasn't alive.
Bush.
I wasn't alive, but I believe Bush probably would have shrank the EPA if anything. And Biden tried to re-extend the EPA, and the Supreme Court ruled that that was not within the EPA's constitutional ability to do so, because it was not what they were trying to do was not explicitly given to them, they were not explicitly given permission by Congress to do what they were doing, which has a big effect on all federal agencies. What they're doing is basically ripping away, the ability for the federal agency, any federal agency to do anything outside of what they're specifically given ability by Congress. Yes, Phoebe, go ahead.
Why can't they use like the elastic clause?
I actually don't know, but I think what I'm saying is. Hello?
Hello.
we have a guest appearance.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Hello. Don't let me interrupt you.
Oh no, you are.
Well,
Well,
you're interrupting me. Go
Cut
ahead.
it out.
Alright, perfect.
Well, you can still go while I'm making a drink.
No, I
You're
can't.
in
You're
front of the
covering the
camera.
camera.
It's that and also really wanted non-alcohol. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we're kids.
Yeah, you guys are
We'll
you.
just cut it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
What's the topic?
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court,
Yep.
Talking about the EPA right now,
the EPA. What about it?
and how they've denied the EPA from expanding.
Who authorized the EPA to?
I believe Ronald Reagan made the EPA.
Ronald Reagan. I don't know if Ronald Reagan made it.
Reagan made the EPA. That's how
But
bad
who authorized?
environment was.
Okay, but who authorized the Clean Air Act?
I don't know what.
Who authorized the
Ronald
Clean Air
Reagan,
Act?
right?
No. Clean Air Act is authorized by Congress.
Oh, sure, yes. Yeah.
Congress authorized the EPA to monitor greenhouse gases from coal plants.
Yeah.
EPA, under Obama, expanded that and started monitoring other effects that went beyond coal
True.
plants, which was beyond their authorization.
Yes.
They were
But
not.
like
there-
most-
Whoa. They went beyond the scope of their
Give him
authorization.
the mic.
Similar
Give him the mic. Give him the mic.
Similar to a police officer is authorized to come and to say to restrict your rights
Sure.
under certain circumstances. But if a police officer was to go beyond that bounds and was to restrict your rights when they weren't authorized to do so, that would be a problem. So, what's this? What?
Scooch.
Scooch, what? You want me over here?
Yeah, that's better.
So, if EPA under Obama went outside of the bounds for which they were authorized to, and then under Trump narrowed it and made it that the language that Trump used, that the Trump administration used, or the EPA used under the Trump administration, it narrowed the scope.
Sure.
All the Supreme Court said was, you can't go beyond what you were authorized to do. Congress said you were authorized to monitor and regulate greenhouse gases in coal plants, not to regulate, and they didn't authorize them to regulate carbon footprints elsewhere.
Aren't many other federal agencies going beyond the bounds of which they are?
Yes! And when they do so, they shall be tried, and the courts shall hold them accountable.
True. My point is that the reason why this specific, I'm not saying there's not an infraction. That's not my argument. I've never made that argument. What I'm saying.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying is that a lot of people get bent out of shape, my sister included, saying, "Oh, we Clean Air Act, blah blah." Well, yeah, no, the Clean Air Act says you can do this. So just like when I'm watching these videos, just a second ago, it's actually still on pause right now, of the First Amendment auditors, where the police officer says, "Give me your ID," and he says, "You can't ask for my ID unless you have reasonable, articulable suspicion that I have committed a crime, or about to commit a crime, or in a process of committing a crime, or you have a probable cause in order for you to detain me." Mm-hmm. In those instances, you can require me to, in many states, state by state dependent, you can require me to give you your ID. So a police officer says, "Well, no, it's a lawful order. You have to give me your ID." That is the same thing as the EPA saying, "We're going to regulate you on something where we don't have the authority to regulate."
I'm not disagreeing to that. I'm saying that specifically the court is picking and choosing which cases they decide to rule on, sure. And because they pick and choose, they get to choose which federal agencies they want to regulate.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So there's multiple other federal agencies that are probably overstepping their boundaries, especially like things like the CIA.
However,
and
the Supreme Court,
and with like things like the CIA, with things like they monitoring American citizens and stuff like that. They're failing. They're failing to commentate on those things, but they are commentating on these things. They're ruling on these things.
NSA, not the CIA.
Yeah.
For distinction. Yes. CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, does with foreign intelligent matters.
Yeah.
NSA does with domestic.
So they've never done anything inside of the country.
I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying.
I'm not trying to get conspiracy theorists on us, but
I'm not saying that's not their job. What I will say that
I know it's not their job.
When the Supreme Court decides as to what cases they are or not going to hear, they take into consideration the lower courts and the appellate courts and what those decisions are.
Yeah.
And if there is a reasonable argument to be had as to why they would accept that court's case. So if it's not just that like, oh, Supreme Court is not hearing this, so that
it has to go through the bottom layer court and then the circuit court, and then they can commentate on it.
Does he do this? Do you guys interrupt a lot?
Yes.
It's not just that.
I finished. Go ahead.
It's not. It's hard for. I want to hear what you say, but when I'm talking,
go ahead.
Me, it's hard for me to hear what you're saying because I'm still thinking the thoughts about that I'm about to say. So I got to.
Okay, go ahead.
So, but it's not as if like certain agencies get to be heard, and certain agencies don't, based off of the political views of the Supreme Court. They're still being heard, They're just not being heard by the Supreme Court. The cases are still being heard and ruled upon in appellate courts, circuit courts, etc. It's just that the Supreme Court. I hear your point, and I'm not going to deny your point that there could be some potential biases.
It's not potential. They are labeled as liberal or
if it's
conservative
not,
as far as
labels, but they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily hold those labels. And
maybe.
potential. The reason why I say potential is because if it's not potential, if you're saying that it's biased, you have to prove that it's biased, and I think that it'd be difficult for you to prove.
Well,
that
there
it
was
is.
not. There was nothing. There wasn't a court decision during Trump that declared what they were doing unconstitutional when he shrunk the scope.
Because shrinking the scope is not violating rights. Not doing your job is not violating rights. If a police officer doesn't pull you over for speeding, you're not like, well, you're not pulling me over.
But
because your rights are not
doesn't
violated.
stop a shooting. It is.
No. You could say that they're not doing their job. You could say that the EPA wasn't doing their job. You could say that. And there are, and yes, you could. That's a
Can
reasonable.
they be sued for that?
Sure.
Okay, well then, I guess my point is that
I don't
nothing
know.
like
I don't
that
know if
made
they
it to
were.
Congress
I
in the past 4 years.
I don't know if that's true. I would.
Nothing made it to the Supreme Court.
I don't know if that's true. Do you know that's true?
I mean, I guess I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Because this podcast started 4 weeks ago, and maybe things were happening. I don't know, my man. I don't know. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I know. But back to what I was saying before.
Back to what I was saying. It's 9:25.
All right. You have fun.
Huh? What are you looking at?
All right. Thanks for the little cameo.
You gonna cut it?
No, we won't leave it in.
Okay.
We'll blur your beer. I mean, not your beer, your whiskey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, I just put so much effort into dialing him up, dialing you down, making it seem like
Give her credit.
We do give her credit.
because
Jayden,
because he
am
was
I
so
too
far.
loud?
No, because he was so far away from the mic that I had to turn it all the way up,
Yeah.
and you could hear you when you were talking. So I was like,
To be clear, is this pause or something? I don't disagree with what you're saying that the EPA should be regulating
Is
gases.
here
Of
a
course
talk-
they should
oh.
be. The EPA should be regulating those things.
I'm not lying. I'm not saying that they weren't tried and then that they didn't do outside of what they were allowed to do. All I'm saying is the Supreme Court likes to make decisions and then reverse them.
Did you read Article 3?
What do you mean?
Did you read Article 3?
He's talking about the part of the Constitution that pertains to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
All courts. Article 3. How many? 275 words.
Oh.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I think we're at the point where
He's telling me to read the Constitution.
where Phoebe, Moosh, and I didn't really have anything to say about that.
Soon!
Really quickly, so we were kind of at a point where Moosh, Phoebe, and I don't really know what's going on, and Riley's dad just left. I think this is a good point to close out. If you want to take it away, go ahead.
After abortion.
We'll talk about that next episode.
Well,
Can we talk about abortion
I won't be
next
on.
episode?
We're gonna talk about
Yeah, we
Right,
won't.
we're gonna talk
I'm
about
sorry,
You,
Riley.
you talked about
You
it
can,
last
you
time.
can have.
Oh, you're right. I guess I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
okay.
did.
Yeah.
We've touched on it, and I believe that it is time for us to wrap it up. Riley, take it away.
Okay. I guess obviously follow us on our socials if you care to do that. That sounds so cringy to say so. But
Do we
yeah,
link
it does
those on-
sound gross.
do we
Make
link
us
those-
famous,
Smash
guys.
the like button.
oh
Annihilate that
Riley,
subscribe
do we
button.
link those on the channel description?
yeah, they'll be linked in the description below.
Linked in the
And
description below.
I
We'll
only
see you
have
next
IG,
Friday.
don't give them
This
my
is-
Bye,
snap.
guys.
this will be the last one this will be our last one posted out. You'll be having to wait for our next one that's posted
Super
Friday.
excited.
See you guys.
You can put my Instagram, but not my snap.
Bye.